A shocking turn of events is about to shake Weatherfield, and we've got the full update. 1. Will George betray Summer? Summer is brought to the forefront of the investigation into Theo's death the following week when a clue that had been hidden from view is discovered. Since Theo's body was found behind the corner shop following Lisa and Carla's wedding reception, the police have been working through a growing list of suspects, with Todd, George, and Gary all coming under scrutiny. What the police don't yet know is that Summer encountered Theo inside his and Todd's old flat above the shop that evening, and may have been one of the last people to see him alive. Viewers saw Theo menacingly confront Summer in an intense scene, and spotted that she was wearing a distinct pig brooch as part of her outfit for the wedding. George was later shown the same blood-covered brooch that was found in the apartment as evidence. When Kit tries to reassure Todd that the police are getting closer to finding Theo's killer the following week, the investigation moves closer to Summer. Rather than taking comfort from this, Summer is visibly uneasy. At number 11, George then finds another reason to be concerned. He accidentally knocks over Summer's bag as he cleans up and finds her journal, which has a disturbing line about putting a gun to Theo's head in it. During the flashback week, she revealed her animosity toward Theo for what he had done to Billy and Todd in parts of this journal. George and Christina are disturbed enough to continue reading the journal, but Summer's sudden return cuts short their time there. She is panicked because she knows that it looks really bad, Harriet Bibby tells us. Whether she's guilty or innocent, this journal is not a good thing for anybody else to see, because it does implicate her. She is scrambling and grasping at straws of how to get around this, to get around the fact that they found this journal containing her darkest thoughts, the author writes. Meanwhile, Kit is going through Lisa's wedding photos when he spots a crucial detail that could implicate Summer, suggesting that the identity of the brooch's owner could finally have been discovered. The following day, Lisa brings Summer in for questioning. Whether you're innocent or guilty, sitting in a police station being questioned is horrific, Harriet points out. So she's just in panic mode and she knows that there are these things stacking up against her. Todd is quick to defend Summer when he sees Lisa on the street. However, George is unable to ignore something he saw that night, which he shows to the audience in a flashback, and later questions Summer about Theo's death. Summer later resents George for his accusations, raising suspicions against him and demonstrating that he also had good reasons to want Theo gone. After that, whispers begin to spread beyond number 11. When Summer realizes Asha and Nina have been talking about her in the cafe, Gary steps in and takes her back to the builder's yard for some breathing space. But George is left facing a big decision when Christina is caught out in a lie to the police. Panicked by the pressure now falling on her, Christina urges him to tell Lisa what he saw on the night Theo died. 2. Will Summer flee Weatherfield? The following day, George admits to Christina that he has spoken to the police about Summer's lies. When Christina warns that it will only be a matter of time before the police come after her, Summer overhears enough to realize how serious things have become and sneaks back out. When she knows that the police are potentially on her tail, I think she just isn't thinking logically and so decides that the best solution for that is for her to just run away, Harriet adds. I think she needs to get out of the pressure cooker. Shortly afterwards, Todd bumps into Summer carrying a holdall, and she admits that she is terrified of being arrested. With her place at university in America waiting, Summer has arranged to fly out that same afternoon. Will Summer make it out of Weatherfield before the police catch up with her, or has her panic only made her look more guilty? The following day, Summer remembers a witness who could help back up her alibi, offering a possible route out of the growing case against her. However, George also has to make a confession. After keeping Todd in the dark, he finally admits that he talked to Lisa about Summer, possibly putting her even closer to being blamed for Theo's death. How will Todd react to his betrayal? 3. Maggie's grandchildren discover her secret Ben continues to exclude Maggie until next week because of the repercussions of her admission about Alan's death, which have further divided the Driscoll family. Maggie has spent decades hiding the truth about what happened to the man Ben grew up believing was his father. After weeks of pressure from both Megan and Melanie, she was finally forced to admit that she and Alan were arguing when their confrontation turned physical, with the tussle ending in Alan falling down the stairs to his death. Maggie has always maintained that it was a terrible accident and that she kept her mouth shut out of concern for her children's well-being. But together with the revelation that Jim McDonald was his actual biological father, Ben has been left questioning everything he thought he knew about his family. Next week, Eva is still trying to restore peace between Ben and Maggie. Eva begs Ben to be gentle with Maggie when she finds Ben comforting his weeping mother. But Ben has already been pushed too far by what he has learnt, and forgiveness is not something he is ready to offer. The following day, the family's latest attempt at normality quickly falls apart, as Ben takes a call from the police and learns that Megan has been released on bail. When Maggie turns up for a family lunch and explains that Ollie invited her, Ben is unimpressed by her presence, and any hope of keeping the meal civil is soon lost when Ben is forced to tell Will that Megan is out. Maggie is horrified by the news and immediately promises Will that she will protect him. However, Maggie's attempt to portray herself as the family's protector only serves to exacerbate the situation for Ben. Unable to let the moment pass, Ben loses his temper and reveals the truth about Maggie to Ollie and Will, dragging the family secret into the open just as they are trying to deal with another crisis. 4. Will lashes out at Bethany later in the week. Will admits to Tim that he cannot relax while Megan is free. Ben tries to give the family something else to focus on by looking into a holiday, but the Driscolls are pulled back into trouble when Susie's fierce loyalty to her family causes more problems. Receiving a call from Susie's teacher, Ben and Eva learn that Gemma and Chesney's 6-year-old Bryn had been teasing Susie about Megan and Will, so she had lobbed a fizzy drink at his head. By Friday, the damage Megan has left behind becomes even clearer, when Ben is contacted by the school to say that Will has failed to turn up for his PE exam. Bethany later finds Will in the precinct and tries to reach him by drawing on her own experience of being groomed. But when she accidentally touches his hand, Will reacts angrily and accuses her of touching him up. 5. Daniel is targeted by an online troll elsewhere on the cobbles. Daniel remains shut away from the world, with Jodi determined to keep her new place in his life. After the fallout from Hope's accusation at school, Daniel has been pretending to his family that he is away in the lakes, while actually hiding out at the builder's yard flat. Having stolen the spare key from number 1, Jodi found him there after being pushed out of number 8, and the arrangement has suited them both. Daniel gets to avoid the outside world, whilst Jodi has somewhere to stay. Daniel tells Jodi next week that he still isn't ready to face everyone. Rather than leaving him to withdraw further, Jodi decides to force the issue. She later tells Daniel that she's seen Cassie, and claims that Bertie is missing him badly enough that Daniel needs to pull himself together. The guilt works, and Daniel heads over to number 1 to collect his son. But when Daniel gets there, he realizes that Jodi hasn't been truthful. Bertie is perfectly happy, leaving Daniel to return to the flat and confront Jodi over why she lied to him. Jodi insists that she only did it because she thought it was what Daniel needed. After everything he has been through, will Daniel accept that explanation, or start to question how much he can trust her? The following day, Daniel's given a new reason to dread facing the outside world when Nina shows him and Jodi abusive posts about him online. The comments, made by an anonymous account called Truth Teller, raise the possibility that Daniel was aware that Megan had groomed Will and that he had groomed Summer in the past. Daniel is confronted with yet another attack, this time from someone hiding behind a screen, after already losing control of his career and reputation. Later in the week, Daniel's still trying to work out who is behind the account, and tells Jodi that the troll must be someone who knows him personally. Jodi suggests David to Daniel as a possible suspect while David is nearby. Could she be right, or is Jodi up to her old tricks again? On Friday, Jodi is back at the bistro with Daniel when she suddenly announces that it's her birthday in front of Nick. Daniel is surprised, and offers to treat Jodi to lunch. After a short while, everyone sings happy birthday to her, and Nick gives her a free slice of cake. However, when Shona, who is in a state of confusion, arrives on the scene, she informs them that Jodi's birthday is in December. Will Daniel eventually realize that Jodi doesn't have his trust? 6. Sarah reaches her breaking point at work. Fizz is worried that Sarah doesn't seem like herself after the attack at the Platt House. When Sarah walked in, Jodi was cleaning the house of trash. Sarah entered the living room, unaware of Jodi's presence, only to be struck in the back by Jodi. Later, the men who had been after Jodi, whom Jodi later erroneously claimed had kidnapped her, were blamed. Fizz voices her worry to Carla that Sarah appears to have lost her confidence in recent weeks. However, Sarah reacts negatively to Carla's suggestion that Michael might take on some of Sarah's responsibilities, feeling as though she is being overlooked. The following day, the pressure continues to show when Michael has to cover for Sarah after she makes a mistake with an order. Sarah's frustration soon boils over, prompting Carla to urge her to take some time away from work. But Sarah's day only spirals further, and Carla later finds her drunk in the Rovers. Carla goes on to make a firm decision. The following day, she calls Sarah into the office and informs her that Michael will be in charge of the new contract. She then tells Sarah to take time off because she clearly is having trouble. Can Sarah accept that she needs time to recover from what she has been through, or will being left out only make her feel even more alone? 7. Roy unveils the new cafe as Sam spirals. Also next week, Sam's mental state continues to spiral, with him now being plagued by visions of Roy as well as Will. But this version of Roy has not been offering any of the calm reassurance Sam would usually expect. Instead, he's been telling Sam that he cannot rely on any of his loved ones, leaving Sam struggling to make sense of what's happening to him. As Sam walks down the street with a seemingly malevolent Roy beside him, he again reiterates that Sam should trust no one. With his visions becoming more prominent, will Sam be able to separate fact from fiction? Meanwhile, the real Roy is concentrating on finally reopening the cafe following the recent fire started by Mal. As Fizz and Chesney close their eyes to be led into the cafe, Roy and Nina are proud to unveil the revamp, which looks remarkably the same to what it was before.